Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Omar Chaudhry, and for my master's project, I will be talking about the CompTIA Security Plus exam and its significance to cyberspace. Now, before I move any further, I just want to establish that I have zero affiliation with CompTIA in any way, shape, or form. I am not sponsored. I am not affiliated with it in a professional level. The only affiliation I do have is with Old Dominion University, as I am a graduate student who is going through the master's project. I just want to preface that before I move any further. With that said, I do want to address my first question when it comes to this specific certification, or actually any IT certification for that matter, is why get an IT certification? Why consider it as opposed to, say, an academic degree, whether it's 2 years or 4 years? The big deal about certification is that they are just an identifying factor as to whether an applicant is qualified for a role. It works very similarly to a badge that just sticks out on a resume, just to let someone know that they are perfect for that specific job that is being posted. So for an ethical hacker, just seeing a CEH on your resume shows that you are certified by an institution in order to be applicable and qualified for an ethical hacker position. Second of all, it allows applicants to reach a level of proficiency in a short amount of time. And that's what makes these certifications so special, especially for individuals trying to make a career change. If you want to pivot your career into a different industry rather fast, usually taking the training for a certain category, perhaps a Google IT help desk certification, you can easily go through that turnaround in just a few months and be in a completely different role that is contrary to a current career position, depending on what or where you were. And with that said, that also allows recruiters and also startup organizations to efficiently fill a role within a short time frame. So that doesn't just come with searching for applicants or qualified candidates. That also goes for on-the-job training, which means that when it comes to hiring the correct people, if you have a certain project that you want to ensure that a level of quality comes with it, the training and the testing for that certification is a level of assurance that makes IT organizations and the clients involved feel satisfied with that level of quality that they receive. Now, for the CompTIA Security Plus, there's actually a lot of different characteristics towards CompTIA and the Security Plus exam in and of itself. First off, CompTIA, the Computing Technology Industry Association, is actually a non-profit organization. They specifically advocate for public policy that helps advance the IT industry in order to make sure, say for example, that cyberspace is more secure, that there are adequate policies made in order to make sure that there are proper security practices or hardware practices that allow the world to be better networked, or that there is some level of adequate cybersecurity practices that are enacted on a uniform level. More specifically, with the Security Plus certificate, which can arguably be CompTIA's most popular certificate, that certificate alone is usually equated to 2 years of IT experience. And all of this quantification of the certificate and CompTIA's knowledge bases is based off of industry experts within the industry in order to make sure that the skills that are being tested in the exams are relevant and often practiced in the job force. Now, when it comes to the Security Plus exam itself, more specifically, we're going to be talking about SYO-601. That, as of April 2022, is the most recent exam certificate for the Security Plus exam. There have been many iterations that have occurred before for the Security Plus exam, but SYO-601 is the most recent. It costs about $381 per exam voucher. However, there are bundles available on CompTIA.org, which usually involve retake exams, study guides, guided practice training for the Security Plus exam, and so forth. The exam itself has different questions, usually multiple choice or drag and drop activities, usually taking, say, a term and a definition and trying to properly match them together. And lastly, one of the big identifiers and one of the significant things about the Security Plus exam are the performance-based questions, or PBQs. These usually involve a situational dilemma or a situational question that the user or the test taker has to go through and actually show the virtual exam how to properly move through the motions and actively solve a problem, whether it's a network failure or if there is an improper practice that caused a security breach. Usually there is a virtual environment online on the computer terminal for the test taker, and that test taker has to walk through these certain prompts and actively give certain commands that have to be executed. And these three different types of exam questions are divided into 5 objectives, which are known as domains. Now, these 5 domains are rather vast in terms of their scope and scale, but it does show kind of the versatility of the Security Plus exam and the scope, the breadth, the depth of what it pertains to. For example, the first domain over here we see has attacks, threats, and vulnerabilities. That's about 24, that's already a quarter of the exam. And that's rather significant because that alone talks about different types of attacks, different methods of penetration testing that can occur, different security breaches, how a hacker can affect an enterprise's system. 21% in the second domain goes towards architecture and design. So usually network structure and how the infrastructure of a network is laid out. The third domain pertains to implementation, perhaps, say, for example, cloud-based security, or if there was going to be the setup of a certain framework or network. Operations and incident response. The fourth domain is 16% of the exam, and that mostly pertains to what to do when an incident occurs. What sort of practices need to be enacted and occur? What should be the guidelines that should be followed if an incident were to happen to a client, to an organization, to a business. And the last one, at only 14%, is governance, risk, and compliance. This mostly pertains towards risk analysis, usually dealing with complying towards policy and guidance within internet governance and trying to make sure that no laws are being broken. If there was a law to be broken within, say, a cybercrime, what specific policies were violated. And that overall just totals to 100%, which is the exam itself. Now, that's not to say that CompTIA's Security Plus exam is the only other exam that truly matters in the IT world. There are other IT certifications. There are plenty from CompTIA, such as the A Plus or the CISSP. Some organizations outside of CompTIA do have their own certifications, specifically in the private sector, so not necessarily from a nonprofit. For example, Cisco does have a Certified Network Associate, a CCNA certification, which pertains to specifically routing and switching, more along the lines of network security on a physical level. Additionally, Apple also has their own specific certification for Apple hardware, and that is known as the Apple Certified Associate Certification, or the ACA. Of course, that does limit itself specifically to Mac machines, Mac OS, and other different devices that are manufactured under the Apple Corporation. And in a way, they do have their own different specialties, and that's not to say that they are discredited as far as their value goes. But one thing's for certain, as a nonprofit organization, CompTIA does have a significant level of scope and breadth when it comes to their specific certifications. So in conclusion, when it comes to the Security Plus certificate, this cert is ideal for individuals looking to qualify for various roles and responsibilities in defining an effective information security system. This certificate actually is just an overall guide to where and when you want to go into the IT world. I would say that on a personal level, that many other graduates from an academic field should consider the Security Plus exam in addition to their academic certificate, simply because it is a great accent and it is a great tactical advantage when it comes to moving forward in an IT career. All these different certifications do change over the course of time, which help make IT professionals stay relevant depending on who they are or what they want to specialize in. Okay, thank you so much for this presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you for your time. Take care.